Everyone, and welcome to part 4 of my tutorial on how to build, paint and weather a Stug III Ausf D. In this video we're going to have a look at the upper hull, also the ceiling, the front part of the Stug, and also the side pod, which will involve all the radios. So let's have a quick look at the kit part. As you can see, I'm in the process of tidying up a few sink marks around. I actually use a humble model filler, so once that's all dried, that will all be sanded down. Also underneath you could see there was a few injector marks there as well, which have been taken care of. The same will be with the ceiling as well. That will need similar attention. As far as the front part goes, again, some injector marks there. The very little is going to need to be done here. Main reason being is you're not going to see it, and secondly that there isn't a great deal of reference material for this particular part anyway. The front part of the upper hull section, you can see has the visor outside. What I'll be doing here is doing some extensive scratch building to create the visor port. As I mentioned before, the pod, again, just tidying this part up. The aerial support's been put on the side already, hole drilled in readiness for the radio receiver, which will go in that section there. The radio parts will be using the Arbor photo etch kit, and I'll do an extensive review and hints and tips on how to do photo etch in this particular video. So as you can see from the stills, the detailing on the front cover of the lower hull is now complete. We have some 0.8 Meng nuts and screw threads to correspond with the hatch ones on that side. The work along the base here is just 1.2 rod with some 1.5 discs. Obviously embellished with some more nuts. These are 0.4 Master Club nuts, and we also have some 0.3 mil rod there as well to make up the brackets. The instrument panel, as you can see from the stills, that was great fun to do. I have some decals, so that will help improve the look of that, but looking forward to seeing how that looks once painted up. As you can see from the stills, the detailing on the ceiling was quite straightforward. As you can see, all the injector marks have been sanded back. Some plates, these are 1.4 mil Meng nuts, and also the 0.8 ones as well. So very straightforward on this particular section. Again, from the stills you can see how this was all built up, very straightforward, using different types of styrene rod. The plastic, or the clear plastic part that came with the kit, has had a bit of Tamiya tape put on there to obviously protect it from the painting stage, and the standard 0.8 mil Meng nuts in there as well. So very pleased how that one's turned out. That will now get fixed onto the actual main hull part. As you can see from the stills, a few things have been done on the upper hull, so let's run through them. First off, the particular areas had to be reformed and reshaped using plasticard and filler, as well as some main nuts in there. The gas mask canister from the spares drawer, along with a little PE belt there as well. You can just see the ammo boxes. Let's see if I turn it up, see if that's better. There we go. So the ammo boxes are now in place. Really enjoyed doing those. They came out well. It was just a matter of creating boxes with styrene card and then embellishing it with a little bit of 0.4 wire. So yeah, pleased with how those have come out. The front visor, or the side visor port, again was great fun to do. Very simple, as you could see from the stills. Turning around, this side panel is now actually complete, so I've put the nuts on. The actual boxes were made from using 3 exact sized plasticard squares all glued together. When you're doing boxes in this way, if you load on the glue and let it dry solid, that acts as a filler, so when it sands back, it now actually looks like a solid box rather than 3 pieces of plasticard stuck together. Again, embellished with some PE handles from the spares drawer. The brackets, these had little 0.5 pewter rivets added, and as you can see from the stills, the hooks were made from 0.4mm wire. I've added some detailing along the top here. This won't actually be part of the tutorial because these are all going to be the hatches, but the PE hinges are now in place, and also I've added some little strip as well. Coming around, again, there's another handle there as well. Now, there is some more detailing to be done, but the priority now is to get the radios put in, and then once the radio set's done with all of the wiring, then I'll fit in the other detailing, otherwise it's liable to get knocked off. Now, no kit bash would be the same without a bit of photo etch. So I've treated myself to Arbor's German tank radio set. We'll have a look, see what we've got. Now we have one sheet of photo etch, as you can see. Lots of nice parts there to get my teeth into. What we're trying to do here is to make a receiver, as well as a transmitter, as well as all the boxes, etc. So looking very nice indeed. It's quite a comprehensive set. I won't go through it, but you've got 3 pages of instructions there for all the different types of radios that you can make from it. We also have some decals. And always remember, when you get a photo etch set through, always have a look on the packaging. As you can see here, that there's some very useful hints and tips, which hopefully I'll be able to enhance as I get stuck into the photo etch. Now, I understand that photo etch can be scary stuff for some people, so I'm going to walk you through making up one component, just to show you how I do it and how easily it is to use. If we look at the instructions, as you can see here, there's a speaker that needs to be made. Now, this photo etch set is nicely set out, so all the parts that I need are all grouped together. So we're going to create the box first, which is this particular part here, so that's going to involve some bending. Now, usually I would start drilling holes at this point for the wires, because it's a lot easier to do at this stage, but because this is such a good kit that the holes are already there. What you then need to do is to decide which bit is going to be on the outside and which is going to be the inside surface. Again, very straightforward here, that's going to be the outside. So what we need to do is to take as much of the backing off to improve the adhesion of the glue. So all we need to do is take a coarse file, sandy stick, and we'll take roughen up the reverse with using this. So there we go, that's now been done, and as you can see, it's very nicely sanded, and that, like I say, will improve the adhesion of the glue when we get round to using it. So the next stage now is to actually take the part off the sprue. I use a sheet of glass, which will basically, what it means is that when you put the scalpel in, it won't bend into the rubber surface of your usual mat, and therefore you'll get a cleaner cut. These are the knives that I use, the blades, sorry. Other people use different ones. You can have these type as well. It's really whatever you're comfortable with using. My only real recommendation here is to try and get the blade in at 45 degrees right into the edge of the part that you're cutting, and therefore you will reduce the sprue mark on the piece that you're cutting. So once you have cut the part out that you require, always look after this sheet. It's very easy to bend, and if you have very small parts, easy to lose parts and to ruin them. So put it back in the packaging that it came in and put that safe to one side. Now, to make your life easier, you need some top quality tweezers. These are the ones that I have here. I find these the most use, and the reason that is this is flat to a glass surface. You can pick it up from its edge like that, so very handy to have. Something that's probably a little bit of a strange thing to say to you is try and keep your nails longish. You'll find that doing PE work with longer nails is a lot easier than if they're short. Now, the photo etch part came off the sprue quite well. But as you can see, there's a couple of sprue marks left on the end there. So what you need to do is just to get yourself a file, hold the part that you're going to be filing as close as you possibly can, because otherwise it will bend. And then all you need to simply do is just going in one direction, is just to file that down. So as you can see there now, it's a nice clean edge. So well, now what we need to do is to actually bend this into the box shape. You can pick up bending tools. You'll have your own favourites. They're all much of a muchness. And basically what would happen is that you would pick up the part, find out the whereabouts it is that you want to bend it, screw the top down, and then get yourself your blade and lift it up or down, as the case may be, to create the bend. However, as you get more and more proficient with working with photo etch, you'll find that you can use other tools, and to be honest with you, 90% of my bending work, I use these flat nose pliers. So I've done a dry fit to make sure that everything fits correctly, because the last thing you want to be doing is messing around with it once all the glue is on there. But as you can see, it's all bent into shape very nicely indeed. Now, as far as glue goes, everyone has their favourites. I personally like to use industrial strength glue, so as soon as the two parts go together, it dries straight away. Your best bet is some sort of plastic lid to put the glue onto. Pringles lids seem to be the best, and basically just stops the glue drying out immediately. So put a little dob of glue there. If you're using intricate parts and you're struggling to see where the glue has gone, especially if it needs to be wiped off, then you can always use black super glue. So those are your choices there. And then once that's been done, what you need to do is just put a little drop of debonder in there as well. So as soon as you've glued your part together, and if there's any excess, you can quickly wipe it off. And your main tool for application is just going to be a simple cocktail stick. So leave that with me, and I'll get this one all put together. So there we have it, one little speaker. Put a couple of dents in, just for a little bit of realism on there. But yeah, very pleased. There's little bits of gaps on the back here, not too fussed about that, because it's obviously going up against the wall. But if you ever want to fill that in, and also possibly on large parts of photo etch where glue isn't good enough, then you're going to need to solder it. So you just get yourself a standard solder gun and some solder wire. It's very simple. Just heat it up and you'll be able to fill the gaps, or to solder the two parts together. So that's the first of many components that I'm going to have to make up. So I'll do that and put some stills up, and then we'll run through all the wiring and the placements of where it all needs to go in the Stug. So all the parts of the radio are now complete and installed into the Stug, which I'll run through with you in a minute. As for the actual photo etch set itself, as you can see, there's still quite a lot there, which will be handy for any other projects that I may use. Altogether, the kit was well detailed, went together beautifully well, very nicely engineered. My only real gripe is that, as you saw from the still, there's quite a few sort of 0.1, 0.2 sized items, mainly which went on the radio faces, and quite frankly it's a complete waste of time. And anything smaller than 0.3 is just a piece of dust as far as I'm concerned. So in future that sort of stuff should really be embossed on the actual photo etch sheet itself. But only a small gripe. Also the decals are in fact stick-on, which I've never really had much success with in the past, so we'll see how those go. But let's have a look at the finished articles. You can see from the stills, the transmitter and receiver are now complete. Installation was an issue. It just wouldn't fit into the side pod, so alterations were made. The hole was made bigger, and the bottom of the side pod was removed and replaced with a little bit of 0.25 plastic card, and the rest of the whole area was shaved. About 0.5 mil worth of plastic was taken off. But you wouldn't really notice the difference. The final result is a good one. All the wiring was using 0.4 mil. This little item here, this chap here, feeds all the way down. Let's see if we can get that in focus, all the way down to the end there. And that was the way of the commander communicating with the driver. The speaker there in the corner. I don't know how well we'll be able to do this. Let's come underneath. There we go. I just made a little ledge for that to go on. While we're here, you can see the side visor and the front sights. That's all in there now nicely. Coming around, here we have the other part of the radio set, with the two grab handles, which is the only point of reference I had to where this went. So a little bit of artistic license, but it certainly looks the part there. And then if we have a look at the main body, Just turn this around. Just down here, there we go, these two here. That will have the wire leading all the way up to this part of the radio set. I had reference material showing that this is where those two items went. So not 100% perfect, I will be honest, but it certainly looks the part, and I'm very happy with the way that's now looking. While I was sorting out the radio sets, I did come across an issue with the fenders. As you can see in the stills, the actual kit part had these large wings which would support this front part of the hull. Obviously don't exist on the real thing, so those were taking off, and quite frankly, it's, as you can see there, it's still pretty solid, so there's no real need for those, so that worked out okay. Again, from the stills, you'll notice that when the top half of the hull was put on, there were gaps, so those were covered up using strips of plasticard. Also from the stills, you'll see that when this was added, it wasn't very straight at all, and sort of came down on a kink. So basically what I've done is added again more plasticard strip, and that was filed down, so now that this is completely level, and I'm a lot happier with the look. And then finally was the ammo bin lid. Just a little hint, with something this small, there was two very nasty injector marks there. Rather than filling them and trying to get a sand stick in there to clean it all up, it's just as easy to put a sheet of very thin plasticard across to cover it all up. Plus that makes it a little feature which will look quite nice once painted up. So I'm happy to say that the build part of this particular tutorial is now complete. When we get to the painting stage, there will be little accessories that will be added, like the earphones, some more gas mask canisters, shells and bits and bobs, just to give it the lived in look, but I'll go through that with you during the painting stages. I've been asked quite a lot about the reference material, so if you have a look on the description of this particular video, you'll see all the details of where I got my research from. So all that now leaves me to say thanks very much again for supporting my work and for subscribing to my channel. The next part of the tutorial will start with the painting process, and happy modelling.